Hello, I'm Infinity Quick Spin-off enthusiast, and welcome to ITUR, Infinity Theorist Unscripted Rants, your podcast for everything fandom related and just random things that I talk about randomly, because that's how random works. Okay, well, yeah. So this is a podcast on YouTube. I know how that sounds, but look at the picture. It's gonna be the same for like what? How long would this be? Like an hour? I don't know. But yeah, so I really wanted to talk about this. So this is the first episode of ITUR, Infinity Theorist Unscripted Rants, because I rant a lot and I need somewhere to get it out. And one thing I really wanted to talk about on this podcast would be, actually, first I gotta say, this is okay. Well, I guess by the time this comes out, I'll probably have like a bunch of like advertisements for it on my Instagram and like on my YouTube channel. So when should I make this come out? Ooh. Maybe by the time, should I do it by the time WandaVision's over? We'll see. It's gonna come out. Not on Fridays. Let's do Mondays. Let's do Mondays. We'll do Mondays. Yeah, we'll do Mondays. Mondays. We'll do Mondays for this podcast. This will be out. What's today? Today is the 17th of February. So, Monday. So you know what? I'll do it. Hold on. First Monday in March, maybe. In March is okay. So, I'm sorry for this, but yeah. Oh, the first Monday in March is March 1st. So, you know what? Yes. So, March 1st, this podcast is coming out. And so, yeah. So, what I really wanted to talk about. So, this is just like to talk about fandom stuff that I won't really be talking about on my main channel, because or my lives, really, because those are more like would talk about recent events like WandaVision. So right here actually is something I need to talk about. And by the way, this is recorded on the 17th of February, meaning that episode 7 of WandaVision has not come out yet. But I mean, by the time it does, a lot of things are going to be changed. By the time this comes out, a lot of things are going to have changed. So, just saying. But yeah. So one thing I really wanted to talk about is that Jimmy Woo might be getting his own X-Files style spin-off. And I got to thinking, because the pitch was Jimmy Woo's just working weird cases around the MCU, like weird Marvel X-Files or something like that, or like cool Marvel X-Files. I don't know, but what it really reminded me of is season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where Coulson and his team are just working weird cases in the MCU, and so I have a theory that, I mean, there's no evidence at all, but my theory is that Jimmy Woo will die, air quotes, in Fantastic Four, so this show can start. Now I know what you're thinking, where'd you get that idea? Well, there are websites that compare Jimmy Woo to Phil Coulson, saying that he's the new Phil Coulson of the MCU. I mean, he really is. Like, he's that lovable government agent. It's a weird thing. And he's getting his own spin-off, so, I mean, this might be too much to hope, but what if the S.H.I.E.L.D. team shows up? What if this is the Agents of the Sword spin-off? Okay, this is just a lot of weird things, isn't it? Okay, yeah, so, so the Jimmy Woo's spin-off is just gonna be, it's gonna be amazing. If Marvel takes the pitch, yep, it'll be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.0 probably, basically. I mean, it'll also be like the X-Files, apparently. I've never seen the X-Files, but yeah. But seriously, it's a really good idea, and I really want the S.H.I.E.L.D. team just to at least cameo in one episode. Just, if not the S.H.I.E.L.D. team, at least Daisy. Or Coulson. Daisy or Coulson, that's good. If any more of the S.H.I.E.L.D. team, that's even better. I mean, it's probably not going to happen if the show does happen, but one can hope. But seriously, this would be like amazing if that happened. This show is okay. Yeah. You see why I'm not really good at unscripting things? not scripting thing, whatever. Yeah, but this show is gonna be really good when if it ever comes out. Hopefully, Marvel takes the pitch. Actually, has Marvel taken the pitch? By the time this comes out, March 1st, 2021, will Marvel have taken the pitch or picked it up or whatever? I don't know the terms. Picked up the pilot. That's something else. That's when you already recorded the thing and did the thing. What's the verdict? Verdict on what's it called? On Jimmy Woo spinoff. Director finishes pitch for Jimmy Woo spinoff. That was February 9th. Oh yeah. So yeah, what I want this team, I want this to be an Agents of Sword thing, where it's just Jimmy Woo, FBI, hopefully future director Monica Rambeau and Darcy Lewis are there with the sword. That's the main sword team, and then you got this like at least one case they're working in the MCU is in space, and they run into the space ambassadors here. I know no one's watching this from Marvel, but if you are, here's a pitch. So the sword team goes to space, right? Because it's sword, they go to space. They run into the space ambassadors. That's Daisy, Cora, Sousa. Is Piper in the space ambassadors? I don't know. Piper's on the ground with Davis and Yo-Yo. But no, they run into the space ambassadors in space and like, well, yeah, because they're space ambassadors. But it's just like that. It's like the interactions would be like Daisy Johnson, I'm with Shield, and then Monica Rambeau, director of Sword, because I know Monica's gonna become the director eventually. Eventually, Monica's gonna be director of Sword, and then just Jimmy Woo, FBI, Sword, former Shield, because I'm pretty sure they referenced a former Shield agent named Woo in Agents of Shield. So that would be that interaction, just that one little interaction, and or also Daniel Sousa. Oh, that's right. I forgot Daniel Sousa was supposed to be dead in the 50s. I forgot about that. No, and then like I thought you were dead, and then there's a lot going on here. I know this was supposed to be a pitch, but I just got a bunch of ideas for this. I know it's not gonna happen, my specific episode idea, but I kind of want it to. Like, okay, so just picture the space ambassadors meeting the sword team. So that's Shield meeting Sword. That's the defense meeting the response department. So I guess it's also defense, but I mean it could also be offense because they're making the sentient weapons. Oh yeah, by the way, this contains spoilers for WandaVision. I don't know if I already mentioned that. It also contains spoilers for the MC. This podcast contains spoilers for everything. I don't know why you're watching or listening. I guess if you don't know that already. But seriously, okay, so in that exchange, and then Sousa and Cora are there. They're both supposed to be dead, but they're not. Actually, hold on. Let me see. Who else? Who's another notable member of the Space Ambassadors SHIELD team? Space Ambassadors. How do you spell ambassador? Ambassador Agents of SHIELD. Space Ambassadors. There should be an S over there. Agents of SHIELD. Did Agents of SHIELD just launch Sword? No, it did not, CBR. So yeah, I think it's just the notable members of the Space Ambassadors are Sousa, Daisy, and Cora. I think that's it. Oh, also, this WandaVision has set up an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spinoff. I don't know how many times already, and it's like, come on, if you're gonna make a Jimmy Woo spinoff, at least bring in some of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, at least Daisy and or Coulson. Those are the two characters that everybody would be perfectly fine if they came back. Like, well, not perfectly fine. They would be like all the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Everyone who's never. The people who haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would be perfectly fine. Wow, they've seen Coulson before. They don't know who Daisy is. Of course, they're going to have to explain Daisy's backstory, whatever, but they can catch up. And they can also catch up on Coulson's backstory. But if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans' reaction to those cameos, at least cameos, would be just like in just pure like awe and like oh, this is the thing we've been waiting for. And I actually I'm getting excited for this show, even though it's not 100% guaranteed to be coming out. But I'm getting excited, and I kind of want to make fan posters of my dream sword team, which of course would be all of the Shield agents, Darcy, Monica, and Jimmy Woo. Of course, Jimmy Woo would probably be the main character, kind of like Coulson was. Oh, and that's where my that's where my Fantastic Four Jimmy Woo death came from, and specifically Fantastic Four because that is the next team up movie. That is the first team up movie, or I guess group movie of the second saga, the multiverse saga. I'm pretty sure it is of the MCU. So it's basically like the Avengers was for Phase 1. Yeah. What the Avengers was for Phase 1, that's Fantastic Four is for Phase 4, I think. Maybe it's 5, actually. It's Fantastic Four, Phase 4 or 5? It's Fantastic Four coming in Phase 4 or 5. I don't know. Fantastic Four is confirmed to be coming to the MCU, but we don't really know when, do we? It could be either one. It might be Phase 5, actually. I'm not sure. Okay, well, either way, it's supposed to come out soon, in the next 2 or 3 years. Fantastic Four is going to come out, and that's, if Jimmy Woo is going to have his own spinoff, he's going to fake die for the Fantastic Four. He's going to be alive. It's not going to be the TV project. He's probably just going to be faked, to be honest. If they do go with that storyline, it's just going to be faked. But seriously, I'm really excited for this show if it does come out, and if it does, well, you're getting a lot of these weird unscripted rants that I'm going on this Infinity Theorist Unscripted Rants podcast, because that's what you signed up for when you started listening. That is 100% what you signed up for. So yeah. Okay. Also, Also, there's other stuff in Marvel's Phase 4 and 5 slate, but I'm not going to talk about that. Instead, what I'm going to talk about... Oops. Let me put that down. Instead, what I'm going to talk about is Evan Peters' cameo in WandaVision. Because, I mean, I know you've probably figured this out by now. Marvel's probably explained it by now. By the time this comes out, March 1st, 2021, by the way. I know... I mean, if you're listening to this right now, it's probably already March 1st or past March 1st. But either way, Evan Peters' cameo in WandaVision is extremely important. Extremely important. He played Quicksilver. I think his name was actually Peter Maximoff in the X-Men movies, but he played Quicksilver in the X-Men movies. Aaron Taylor Johnson is the one who played Pietro Maximoff, Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. They actually never say Quicksilver or Scarlet Witch or mutants in the MCU, but that's what they are. I'm just fidgeting around with random stuff right now because I'm super excited, so I'm just fidgeting around. Anyway, so yeah, this could introduce the multiverse, mutants, the X-Men. This could introduce so many different things. Sword's been introduced, and that's going somewhere. That could set up what happened in Far From Home. Because remember, WandaVision takes place before Far From Home, months before, actually, like 7-ish months before. Because 3 weeks after Endgame, Endgame takes place 8 months before Far From Home. So a little bit of math there. But yeah, seriously, this is just amazing. What else? So the Jimmy Woo spinoff is kind of like kind of like that sneaky little way of getting our Agents of Sword. It might not actually be the Sword spin-off we've been wanting since, I guess, since Agents of Shield ended, but it's a start. We could get our it's not quite the Quake spin-off we've been wanting, actually. Agents of Sword, sure, whatever. If you want to do Agents of Sword, sure, go ahead, Marvel, do whatever you want. But we also want you really bad. We also all want you. If you're an Agents of Shield fan, you definitely want a Quake spin-off. There's no question. Because like Daisy should be an Avenger for one, and also she's one of the best characters in the MCU. Come on, like that. It's just like, really. I can't. It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm getting okay. Actually, I shouldn't apologize. This again. This is if you signed up for. If you're listening to this, you probably signed up for me going off script, or I don't have any script actually, and just ranting about random stuff for random amounts of time. Anyway, so yeah, we want a quick spinoff, that's for sure. We want this quick spinoff to be in. Some of us want this quick spinoff to be an Agents of Sword. Some of us want it to be specifically a Quake spinoff, and some of us just want the characters to come back because you know what did happen. Bobby and Hunter never came back. Well, I mean, Hunter came back. Bobby never came back. Bobby's last episode was the parting shot episode. Hunter came back for that one cameo in Rewind season 5 episode 5 of in Shield, but like they never came back. And so if they just like, here's a scene for this. Just like, what were you doing that day all those years ago? I told you, picking mushrooms. That would be a great scene. That's just like I'm getting chills just thinking about if they ever did that scene. Just like it would just be like a black screen, like in the trailer. What were you doing that day? And you just hear Nick Blood's voice saying, "I told you, picking mushrooms." And then that's when you get the chills, and it's like, and then the black screen opens, and there they are, Agents Bobby Morse and Lance Hunter, sitting down at a desk, being interrogated by Monica Rambeau and Jimmy Woo. There's a scene for you. That would be an amazing scene. Actually, I'm imagining it right now. It sounds like that's a really good scene. Okay, or it's just like Shield. I don't know. I'm gonna go with a random. I'm gonna go with a. Actually, do the Space Ambassadors have a Shield identity? I don't know. I'm just gonna go with the bus's identity, which is also the name of the main universe in the comics, or the number. So it's Shield 616. Requesting something. I don't know. They're requesting something, and then Sword just comes up. Like Jimmy Woo, Darcy Lewis, and Monica Rambeau just come up, and like just see, and you see their ship and screen like looking off. You see them in their ship all confused, and then they're like, "I thought Shield fell or whatever," and then you just see, and then like a video call comes on the ship's screen or whatever. I don't know, like they didn't that one time on the on Kitson, I guess, and you just see like it's Daisy Johnson on the screen, and it's just like, there you go. That's when you know something. That's a really good idea for a scene. Seriously. There are I have like this show. I know it's not up to me at all to decide what's going in this show if Marvel picks it up, but if you're listening, Marvel, I mean, just think of how many fans you can please by giving us like people giving us characters from Agents of Shield back in this spin-off, this Jimmy Woo spin-off that, if you're going to pick it up, I'd say it'd come out in 24, 25, maybe 26, 27 at the latest. That's the year those are the years that I think. So it's somewhere between 24 and 27. 27 like at the very latest, but I think probably 25 or 2025 or 2026. are the most probable years for the show to come out if Marvel picks it up. Because remember, they got to adjust for the Phase 5 and 4. They got to adjust for the Phase 5 slate too to fit it in. But it's a really good idea. And I mean, this is just... I've been talking for 20 minutes. But seriously, this show is just like... It's getting me excited for something that might happen. But Marvel, if you're listening, I know you're probably not. You know how to please your Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. Because we're out here. We're still here. We still exist. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. may be over, but we're far from over from making videos on it, talking about it on random podcasts or live streams, and making connections to WandaVision's Hydra soap, and the blue mind controlling soap from the framework. We're still out here making those connections and doing all those fun stuff. So if you want to please us, like if you want to please all of your fans, just bring back characters from the shows, except Inhumans. That show was not very good, like at all. That Marvel. That was probably the worst show ever. Just like, well, not the worst show ever, but the worst show I've ever seen. I kind of regret watching it, but it's fine. Anyway, seriously, you know how to bring back... If you bring back any characters from any of the shows besides Inhumans, people are gonna love it. If you bring back Agent Carter for a 3rd season on Disney Plus, people are gonna love it. I mean, that show was canceled in 2016, and still left on a cliffhanger at the end of season 2. I mean, kind of filled at the beginning, in season 7 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when Sousa came out. But I mean, like, was it really, or was it just like, well, here's the character from Agent Carter. Remember him? Yeah. Well, he's gonna go with the S.H.I.E.L.D. team now. We're still gonna kind of leave what happened after season 2 of Agent Carter just like up to imagination. But we're gonna answer a few questions, not all of them. And it's just like, okay, well, sure. But if you brought back Agent Carter for a 3rd season, sure, that's it. If you want to end it on the 3rd season, at least make it feel like a natural ending. Because season 2 of Agent Carter just felt like, okay, we're setting up a season 3 that we're never going to make. That's what it feels like. Because, I mean, it did have some kind of investigation. I don't know. I haven't seen the last episode of Agent Carter in a while. I'm going to watch it soon. But, yeah, they had some sort of investigation going on that was supposed to set up season 3, but then the show got canceled. So if Marvel ever wanted to bring it back for a 3rd season on Disney Plus, I mean, I'm not complaining if you do that. And like all these Marvel shows that have been around for a while, like Runaways 2, Runaways the show, Cloak and Dagger, the Netflix. I haven't seen Netflix shows personally, but I know they exist. All those shows that people like actually love, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. especially, because I mean, you should see the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan base. Very small, but very active. Small but active. But seriously, if you want to please all of your fans, of all the fans of the MCU, bring back their favorite characters. At least one of their favorite characters from every show. I understand I understand why you wouldn't bring back why you wouldn't bring back Runaways. It ended kind of like, okay, well, which universe did it end on? Because Wikipedia says it ends in the MCU, but I kind of think, well, maybe that timeline where Gert lived is more of like an alternate timeline, and then the other timeline where she died is kind of like, okay, well, this is just not how time travel works, like, at all. Runaways is a weird show. It's a good show. I loved it when I watched it. But the last episode is kind of like, well, really? That's how you're going to end it? You're not going to be like, okay, well, they spun off into their own timeline while the original characters spun off into their own timeline. And, I mean, even though they saved Gert, Gert's still dead in the other timeline. And that's really how time travel works, because that's how it works in Endgame and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., actually. And therefore Agent Carter, because Daniel Sousa comes in Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. So yeah, it's kind of like, okay, well, I get why you wouldn't bring back Runaways, but you should bring back, if you brought back like Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel, if you brought back Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. or I mean, Agent Carter for a third season. I know we've gotten a lot of Agent Carter because, like, the character Peggy Carter, um, her funeral was in uh in Civil War, and then yeah, she's kind of that character that's just like comes and goes from the past, just as like flashbacks and time travel, and then Cap lives his life out with Peggy, which kind of just defeats the purpose of Agent Carter. It's because like okay, because in there's a specific scene I'm talking about in season at the end of season 1, whenever Howard is mind controlled or mind controlled to like bomb New York or something. Was it New York? I think it was New York. Um, and he was mind controlled into thinking he was saving Steve, and then Peggy was just like, he died a year ago. You got to accept that, and that is when you realize she finally accepted his death a year later, and that's just like that's just good character development. And so I don't know. So Steve kind of going back with Peggy, or going to live his life with Peggy, kind of just defeats the purpose of that scene. So I'd see why Marvel wouldn't bring back Agent Carter for third season, but I also see why they would, because if they did, I'm just saying, I know I'm not saying they are, but if they did bring back Agent Carter for a third season, we could actually get an ending, and we could see which timeline Steve ended up in. Because we know he ended up in the main MCU, because that's, or at least a version of him did, because he's on the bench at the end of Endgame. So how is if he's if he time traveled from another timeline to Endgame, he would have come out through the little portal thingy in like 5 seconds. It'd been 5 seconds, and he would just be there. But instead of being there like he was like the young Cap when he left, he would be the old Cap that lived his life out with Peggy in another timeline. So we know at least a version of Cap lived his life with Peggy in the main MCU, meaning it would have had to happen after season 2 of Agent Carter. And so if they brought back Agent Carter for a third season, that would clarify so much, because it'd be like, okay, Steve's back. Like at the end of the season, just like do like a reveal. You don't even have to get like Chris. You don't even have to get Chris Evans to play a scene. You can just use the clip from another like Infinity War when he's behind the train, and do a little editing, take off his beard or something, and you could just be like, it could just be like a hidden reveal, and it's like at the very end of Agent Carter, it's like that's why that would clarify so much, right? Because it'd be like, okay, well, Steve's here finally. He's living his life out with Peggy in 1948 would be, because that would be the next year after 47, because 45 was when Steve won the ice. 46 Agent Carter season 1, 47 season 2. So then 1948 would be season 3 if they ever made it. And at the very end, you could have Steve coming out of like I don't know, somewhere, and like behind a car or a train, I don't know, and just like you have Peggy like investigating something for the SSR, Strategic Scientific Reserve, and what she's investigating is like an 084, right? It's an 084. It's an object of unknown origin, and when she sees the 084, it's Steve Rogers, and it's like, oh, okay, well, this clarifies so much, because we know that, because in order for Steve to be there on the bench at the end of Endgame, he had to have lived, and he lived his life out with Peggy. We know that he had to have lived his life out with Peggy in the main MCU, because he's on the bench at the end of Endgame instead of coming out through the little portal thingy where he went in, because that's how time travel works. If he would have come out from the portal thingy as Old Man Cap, well then, sure, we can say he lived his life out with Peggy in another branch of the multiverse. But since we know he didn't, it'd be like, okay, well, at the end, if you made it, there would be like an Agent Carter season 3 explaining what happened to Steve, what happened to Peggy, and why Sousa couldn't like work things out with her, because Steve came back, and that just makes so much more sense than just like everything's in another timeline. The shows are in another timeline. That doesn't make sense because there are so many ties. Like in Agents of Shield, there's a tie in season 2. There's a tie to Age of Ultron with the helicarriers. Coulson brought the helicarriers to the Avengers. The Avengers, yeah. Coulson, but Nick Fury was Coulson called the helicarriers to go to help the Avengers, but Nick Fury was there because, I mean, the Avengers still thought Coulson was dead, so Nick Fury had to be there. So yeah, and then like there were so many tie-ins, and there are a lot of tie-ins. Trust me. And Agents of Shield, and then there are, yeah. So we know Agents of Shield takes place in the same timeline at least as Agent Carter, and because of all those tie-ins, I feel like it is canon to the MCU, meaning that Agent Carter is also canon to the MCU, meaning that if we go back in time from Endgame, it's just go back in time for Endgame, and he lives, or he comes back in time from another, because maybe from another timeline. We don't know if this Rogers, this version of Steve Rogers in Endgame, the Old Man Cap, is really Steve Rogers, the one that's been there for the whole Avengers thing, or if it's him from another timeline. It could be either one. That doesn't really matter. But either way, Steve went back in time, lived his life out with Peggy, and there they are. And so we know that he ended up in his own timeline, or at least his own time. What we know, he ended up in the MCU, Earth 1999999. I always have to count the nines when I say that, and yeah, you always have to count the nines when I say that. But yeah, we know he ended up there. At least a version of him did. And since he didn't come back through a little portal magic time machine, it's not magic, but science time machine thingy. Then the quantum realm. Since he didn't come back from the quantum realm, he was sitting on the bench. We know that his full life with Peggy was in Earth 1999999. Is that right? 1999999. Yeah, there's 6 9s and 1 1 at the very beginning. And yeah, that's so we know that he's there in the MCU, and Agent Carter never really clarifies anything. So if you made a season 3 of Agent Carter Marvel, this would be just like, that would be the best, because like, well, now you finally clarified what's going on, because even the directors and screenwriters debate whether Captain America actually branched off into another timeline or stayed in his. But the directors and the screenwriters debate that, and well, I mean, if he didn't come back to the portal thing, I don't know what to call it, then, and he's on the bench, right? So we know, like, there's no way he could have gone through another time. Oh, there is a way he could have gone through another timeline. That could have been that could either, but you know what I mean. There's no way that Peggy's husband that was mentioned in Winter Soldier wasn't Cap, because, well, I mean, he's there on the bench in Endgame, not in the portal. So if Marvel hypothetically made a season 3 of Agent Carter, that would explain so much. It'd be like, okay, well, this is why she didn't end up with Sousa, and that's why things didn't work out, and that's how Steve is here on the bench at the end of Endgame. See, I'm just giving you ideas at this point. I mean, I know it'd be kind of hard to do this, and probably cost a lot of money, but I'm still giving you some ideas. If I know you're not listening, but if you were, I'm serious. That a season 3 of Agent Carter. I mean, come on, it doesn't even have to be 8 episodes. It can be 5 episodes if you want. Like, that'd be like the shortest Marvel show season ever. But 5 episodes. You could introduce the last investigation from episode 10 of season 2, and then you could bring back Steve. Like, he comes in, he goes back to 1948 instead of 45 for some reason. You could explain that maybe like episode 3, Steve couldn't come back, and then he explained in the last 2 episodes, like at the end of episode 3, he comes back, and the last 2 episodes of the show could just be them closing out Agent Carter finally after so many years, and there you go. There's a solution to the debate. just bring the season 3. Just get a season 3 of Agent Carter. That's it. How did I go from Jimmy Woo's sword spinoff to Agent Carter? I don't know, but again, this is Infinity Theorist Unscripted Rants. When you listen to this, you sign up for my unscripted rants about random stuff. But seriously, is that not a good idea? Because if it's not, well, I mean, there's a comment section for a reason. But no, yeah, seriously, that's how you would explain this. That's how the scene at the end of Endgame would explain. That's how it would be explained. Just a season 3 of Agent Carter. Bring it back for 5 episodes. Who cares? You can close out that last investigation in 5 episodes, and then the last 2 episodes can just bring back Steve, and there you go. That's why Sousa and Peggy never worked out, and that's why Sousa's with the SHIELD team now, and Sousa's with the SHIELD team because he fake died, but that's it. That's how you solve everything. You just make a season 3 of Agent Carter. That's how you solve everything. Now, back to that Jimmy Woo spinoff that I was talking about earlier. There, you could reintroduce the space ambassadors, like I said, which would also bring back Daniel Sousa, meaning that Agent Carter is 100% canon, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is 100% canon again, and everybody's happy. There you go. Bring back Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Bring back the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for Agents of S.W.O.R.D. They get recruited by... The space ambassadors get recruited by S.W.O.R.D. Or S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.W.O.R.D. are connected because Nick Fury is on that S.W.O.R.D. base at the end of Far From Home. So that means... And since Nick Fury works with S.H.I.E.L.D., which is directed by... Alfonso Mackenzie, director Mackenzie, they're connected. And since Nick Fury works with S.W.O.R.D., they're connected too, meaning that you can just put everything under one roof. You can just do a merger with S.W.O.R.D. and S.H.I.E.L.D., and there you go. We have our Agents of S.W.O.R.D. spinoff, our Quake spinoff, the one we've been waiting for. I mean, that would be a Jimmy Woo spinoff, but it could be an Agents of S.W.O.R.D. spinoff, and Jimmy Woo could be the main character, like Coulson was, and Daisy could be a secondary main character, like she was in seasons 1 through 5. I mean, and then I'd argue Daisy is the main character, or Daisy, Fifth, and Simmons are the main characters in season 6. I'd argue that, but yeah, I'd argue that they're the main characters in season 6. But yeah, so yeah, you could have that, and Daisy could also be a main character in Agents of S.W.O.R.D., and there you go. That makes everyone happy. And here we go. Runaways, yes, just count it as canon. Roxxon's there, it's canon. Just bring it back if you want. Bring back a character or 2 from Runaways. Cloak and Dagger, I don't know. You can bring them back too if you want. Inhumans, just get rid of it. Just pretend it never existed, and there you go. Everybody's happy. Oh, and the Netflix shows. Yeah, you can bring back the Defenders, I guess. I mean, I've never seen the Netflix shows. I will eventually. But I mean, I guess I'd see the problem with bringing back the Defenders because those are the Netflix shows. I'd see the problem with that because the deal with Netflix is kind of over. I see how that would be kind of hard. But if Marvel could do it, everybody's happy. And I mean, the X-Men are coming to the MCU soon. The Fantastic Four are coming to the MCU soon. The multiverse is already confirmed. This is just... all of these ideas are ideas I could tie in loose ends of the Marvel Universe. And there you go. Everybody's happy. That's how you solve a problem. There we go. I know no one from Marvel is listening, but if they were, just think about it. Do a pitch. Do a pitch to someone, to whoever you have to pitch to. That would literally make everybody happy if just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if there was at least a cameo, at least a 1 episode cameo of the space ambassadors on Jimmy Woo's show, then there you go. That satisfies people's needs. I mean, you could always satisfy to satisfy people's wants. You could satisfy Agents of Shield fans' wants by giving us a quick spinoff too, or you could make that quick spinoff combine with Jimmy Woo's spinoff, and you have Agent Woo and Agent Johnson, or Agents Woo and Johnson. That could be a title for the show. Or you could have Agents of Sword, like Agents of Shield with Agents of Shield. So you could have Agents of Sword, where Jimmy Woo is like the Phil Coulson, the main character. Of course, Coulson, like LMD Coulson himself, could make like a cameo appearance, and Fitzsimmons and Alia could make like a FaceTime appearance or something. And Daisy, Susan, and Cora, or so Fitzsimmons and Alia could make a FaceTime or like a video call appearance. Mac, Yo-Yo, Piper, and LMD Davis could make just like a cameo appearance when they're on Earth. Daisy, Cora, and Sousa could be some of the main characters, because I mean they're in space, they're Sword, right? They're the space ambassadors. See, I kind of just like, okay, there you go. And then of course Deke's probably not gonna get a cameo though, because I mean alternate timelines and stuff. Unless they travel the multiverse, in which case, there you go, Lemon's back. Okay, and then that's how you solve the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. problem. How you solve the Agent Carter problem, the tying up loose ends of the Agent Carter side of the Marvel Universe, is you make season 3, there's a season 3 of Agent Carter, right? Agent Carter's there, working the weird case that she was supposed to be assigned to at the end of season 2. I forgot what it was, but I know there was something, and that case somehow has to deal with Captain America's return to the past, and Captain America's return to the past is at, like, say, mid-season. If you did 5 episodes, episode 3. If you did 8 episodes, episode 4. If you did 10 episodes, episode 5. Or 9 episodes, episode 5 also. But either way, that mid-season, that like end of the mid-season finale could be just like, or like it could be not mid-season finale, but like it could be just like the end of the middle of the season is just like you bring back Steve Rogers for the end of the show, and that's how you solve the Agent Carter problem, where we still don't know, like we still have no confirmation what happened, because the directors and screenwriters disagree. But I mean, I told you, Steve is there on the bench at the end of Endgame, specifically the bench with the shield, not on the portal thingy, the time travel portal thingy, because I mean, so that means he's been in the MCU for the past 100-ish, not 100-ish, but the past like 80 years he's been here. So that means that so you can bring him back at the end of at the end of Agent Carter, like he just got back from his mission with the Infinity Stones, and there he is, and he's with Peggy at the end, and that's how Sousa didn't work out, and there you go. That's how you solve the Agent Carter problem. That's season 3. Now, Cloak and Dagger. Well, I mean, you kind of solved that problem. They kind of solved that problem already in Runaways. So, that's kind of, so yeah, you could bring back Cloak and Dagger for a few more seasons, or not. Or you could just bring back characters, just make them like Avengers or something. I don't know. Maybe make them retire. Okay, Cloak and Dagger, Runaway. Those shows are kind of hard to figure out. But I mean, I know how they tie in already. They definitely tie in, because they tie into each other, and then so you could just like, I mean, it came to a pretty good ending once Runaways, once they came out in Runaways, it came to a pretty decent ending, I'd say. And so yeah, that's Cloak and Dagger. You can just mention them in a newspaper, or like a news station. Just mention them in the news in the main MCU, and there you go. That's canon. Then mention the Runaways. The Runaways. Okay, well that's kind of complicated, because Gert's death in Runaways is complicated. What it does leave, what the end of the show leaves you with is, what universe did this end up in? Because I have a feeling it's not 199999. I have a feeling it's not the MCU, because I mean, just look at how time travel works. I don't know if that's kind of. I don't know if that's just. I don't know if it's me or if it just doesn't feel like a Marvel style time travel. Because I mean, the people who saved the Runaways from the future, like, disappeared kind of, and after they saved Gert, and so then that new timeline went on, but they disappeared. So that doesn't feel like a Marvel style time travel. So I don't know how you would tie that in, but it does already tie into Agents of Shield with the Darkhold. So there you go. That's how you tie that in. Just say, I don't know, Morgan, that witch from from season 3, like, stole it from. Actually, did you get the Darkhold at the end of season 4? Was it Shield? It was Shield, right? It was probably a Shield facility. Like, Morgan, like, broke into a Shield facility or something and stole it, kind of like what Wanda did with Vision's corpse. I don't know. You could say something like that, like along like those lines to tie that in. And the Netflix shows, I see the copyright problem with that. But I still haven't. Again, I haven't seen the Netflix shows, so I really don't know how to tie those in. But you could always make the Defenders part of the Avengers or something. Like it could be like the new Avengers, and just like the new Avengers, like, are the Defenders, and like Daisy Johnson and Monica Rambeau, because she's definitely getting powers, and yeah, those could be some of the new Avengers, and also Black Panther, of course, or wait, the new Black Panther, because probably gonna be Black Panther 2 is probably gonna the main character of Black Panther 2 is probably going to be Shuri. I'm calling it right now. The new Black Panther is going to be Shuri, T'Challa's sister. So then that's okay. Those are some. Oh, Ant-Man and the Wasp, of course. Stature, Cassie Lang. Hawkeye, Kate Bishop's Hawkeye. She-Hulk. They're She-Hulk, original Hulk. See, there are a bunch of new reboots of characters. The Fantastic Four. See, that's a lot of Avengers already if they're all part of the Avengers. The Guardians of the Galaxy. See, all of these people. Okay. See, all of these people could just make the new Avengers in total. And yep, or I mean, I guess Kate Bishop. Kate Bishop and Billy Kaplan and Tommy Shepard. All those people would be the Young Avengers. So they wouldn't be the new Avengers, or they would, but I don't think they would. I think they'd just be the Young Avengers. But there would probably also be other Young Avengers. They said anyway, so yeah, Spider-Man would also be one of the new Avengers, even though he's been an Avenger since Infinity War. So yeah, one of the new Avengers. So yeah, Ironheart. There are a bunch of people who just can make the new Avengers, and there you go. There's the problem solved with the Defenders. Just make a new Avengers thing, because you've already got the setup, Marvel. You've got a bunch of setups for a bunch of things, and so one of them is the Young Avengers, which would be Tommy Shepard, Billy Kaplan. By the way, in case you don't know, those are Tommy Maximoff and Billy Maximoff, but they're Tommy Shepard and Billy Kaplan. Wiccan and Speed. Anyway, Kate Bishop's Hawkeye, or that setup with the new Hawkeye show coming out this fall, I think. Oh, Shang-Chi would also be a member of the new Avengers. So yeah, all these new characters. Doctor Strange would be one of the not new Avengers, but one of the Avengers. So yeah, all these setups. There you go. You've already got these setups for the new Avengers and the Young Avengers. Just tie that in with the Defenders. I don't know how the Defenders ended, or how the individual shows ended. I will eventually get to watching them to see what happened, but I don't know. I don't know how you ended that. I don't know if anyone died or anything, but if it's loosely ended, well, then just tie them into the Avengers somehow. Okay. What other shows are there? Are those the only Marvel shows? I think those are the only MCU Marvel shows. And then the X-Men universe is pretty easy to tie in with the multiverse, the Fox X-Men. If Apple were to absorb Sony, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse would then become part of the MCU, the Spider-Verse would become part of the MCU, meaning that, well, the Spider-Verse, well, Into the Spider-Verse wouldn't be part of the MCU, but it'd be part of the MCU multiverse. If Apple ever absorbed Sony, because when back in like 2019, I think it was, when Spider-Man was temporarily out of the MCU, uh, Apple was rumored to be thinking of absorbing Sony, because they were kind of like going on the cusp of like bankruptcy or something. I don't know, but they're thinking of absorbing Sony, and so yeah, if Apple does invent Sony, they have a partnership with Disney, meaning that Marvel would then get all the rights to Spider-Man and all those characters, meaning that Into the Spider-Verse would help set up the multiverse, and there you go. That's how you tie in the Sony Marvel movies, and I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's all of the thing, right? That's all of the Marvel stuff. Yeah, all of the Marvel stuff are tied in now. And bonus, here's something that I kind of want to happen soon. If Apple did absorb Sony, then Apple would actually own the PlayStation. Interestingly enough, like the company PlayStation, like all those that they made, and also they could tie in the Spider-Man video games to the MCU, which I kind of want to see. I mean, I played the first game. I haven't played any of the DLCs yet, or the Miles Morales game, but I'm planning on it eventually. Right now I'm just getting the New Game Plus achievements for the first game. I'm gonna play the DLCs after, and then eventually I'll get the Miles Morales game. And yeah, and after that, that'll definitely. So they have the opportunity to if Apple absorbed Sony, they would have the opportunity to link the PlayStation games to the MCU, and there you go. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? How have I been talking for 52 minutes? That is unbelievable, actually. No, seriously, I've been having a lot of fun with this. Actually, I was gonna work on a video. I was gonna pause talking in a little bit, or not a little bit. I was gonna pause talking a while ago, so I could finish working on a video. But this is actually really fun. I love doing this. I'm definitely gonna keep doing this. This is fun. I like talking about this random stuff, and I don't even have to. And it's in the name, unscripted rant. So I don't even have to explain myself, and it's amazing. I don't have to come up with all this evidence for my weird little theories, like my Jimmy Woo is gonna die theory, because he's not gonna die. He's gonna Coulson die. No, Coulson did die. He just came back, and then he died again. Then he came back, and then I can do this all day. And I think Jimmy Woo is gonna die, but like to help but like as motivation for the Fantastic Four. And he's gonna still be alive, and that's how they're gonna set up his show. And I kind of want the show to be Agents of Sword. He's a former Shield agent, so at least he probably is, and so he could be the Phil Coulson of Agents of Sword, with Monica Rambeau being like the Nick Fury of season 1, except maybe Monica would be one of the main characters, unless she's dealing with the Avengers, or Wanda Maximoff, or Vision's corpse being used as a weapon. I don't know. She might be like Nick Fury, because Nick Fury just came out in a few episodes of Agents of Shield, or she might be she might be a director, like Coulson was a director, Mac was a director, that main characters, so she could be like that. But I feel like, because people have compared Jimmy Woo to Phil Coulson. He's the new Phil Coulson of the MCU, so he's kind of gonna be like that, like Agent Coulson type character, who's just there for the fun of it, I guess. I know Coulson's kind of like there for the work part of it, but he likes his job. I'm pretty sure he loves his job, and so he's gonna be he's gonna join Sword, and then I really feel like Monica is gonna be the director of Sword, because I mean, come on, you really think Tyler Hayward is gonna keep that job? I mean, look at that guy. He's gonna be like the like. So yeah, I feel like Monica is gonna be the director of Sword. Um, Jimmy Woo's gonna be the main character because the pitch was a Jimmy Woo spinoff. And if they did reintroduce the Space Ambassadors, the Agents of Shield, well then that's good too. That's amazing actually. And then Darcy Lewis is gonna join Sword. Is gonna join Sword as a scientist because Monica's definitely gonna let her. I mean, that's not sarcasm. That's like genuine truth. Monica would let Darcy join Sword if she wanted to, and I feel like after she comes out of the Hex, yep, she's gonna want to. So yeah. Oh yeah, the Hex. Oh yeah, I forgot the Hex. Yeah, Darcy went into the Hex in the most recent episode of WandaVision. I just don't know what part she's gonna play. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen to Darcy because I know she's not dead. There's no way Marvel would kill off Darcy Lewis. That's like I don't know. That's like killing off what's a good analogy? That's like killing off Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter books, I guess, or Padme. No, that's a bad example. That was a joke, by the way. A terrible one, but it was a joke. Ahsoka. That would be like no wait. That would be like killing it. Ahsoka would be like killing off Daisy Jones. Okay, Ahsoka killing off Ahsoka in the Star Wars movies or Star Wars fandom would be like killing off Daisy Johnson in the Agents of Shield, which would be like killing off Darcy Lewis in in the other MCU. Wait a minute. That's where I was just okay. Well, you know what I mean. Killing off Darcy Lewis would be a very bad idea. So yeah, we don't actually get to see what happened here, interestingly enough. So yeah, yeah. This new show those are like the three main characters, and then you could add the three space ambassadors, which are Daisy, Sousa, and Cora. You could add those three, and then you'd have your Agents of Sword, your 6 Agents of Sword, because we've had 6. The original Avengers were 6 Avengers, right? The original Agents of Shield, 6 Agents of Shield. So there you go. You have your pattern with the 6s. Marvel has an obsession with the number 6, don't they? Has Marvel been setting up Mephisto for the past 7 years since Agents of Shield? Or for the past almost 9 years since the Avengers movie is almost 9 years old. Is that real? It is. That is. Oh my! That is crazy to think about. The Avengers movie is almost 9 years old. Think about that. Actually, when was the Avengers? May 4th. May 4th, 2012. That is almost 9 years ago. The 9-year anniversary of the Avengers is coming up in May. That is crazy to think about. Anyway, back to the thing that I was talking about. So yeah, Jimmy Woo spinoff could be Agents of Sword, which would fit so many requests, and it's just like this is just I'm this idea that I just had for the past almost hour that I've been talking about is just like the best thing I've ever thought of, actually. Well, not the best thing I've ever thought of. There are a bunch of other things that I probably have thought of. No, this is the best thing I've ever thought of. Well, I don't know. It's one of the best things I've ever thought of, though. This is just like... I mean, I know Marvel's probably not going to do this again, but just think about this. All of these connections, I just made all these connections, and there you go. That's how you solve the loose ends problem with Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all those other shows. So, oh my, that's amazing. Okay, cool. Now I've got to stop doing. Now I don't know. Okay, now yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. Wow, I cannot wait for this Jimmy Woo spinoff if it does happen. Come on. Now that because I'm definitely going to make a fan poster for it with the dream team, my Sword Dream team. would probably it would probably be Monica Rambeau, Jimmy Woo, Darcy Lewis, Daisy Johnson, Daniel Souza, Cora. What's Cora's last name? I don't think Cora has a last name, or at least we don't know it. Cora, possibly LMD Phil Coulson, but I feel like if they did do a Coulson cameo, it'd just be a cameo, and it'd be like, I thought you were dead. I mean, I am. That'd be a great encounter. Just like, I thought you were dead. I am, and I'm a robot or whatever. This is the. Yep. I want this show to happen, and I'm definitely going to make fan posters. So if you see those fan posters before this comes out on March 1st, 2021, well, now you know where I got the idea. I am, and it'd be like individual character posters of this Agents of Sword spin. I'm gonna call it Agents of Sword. That's gonna be the name of this. This is gonna be, if Marvel, pick up the show, call it Agents of Sword. If you call it Agents of Sword, you can make so many people happy. And there you go. Just think of my ideas. If you ever get this somehow, I don't know. I might tag Marvel themselves and a bunch of the Agents of Shield and WandaVision cast. So if they with this post on Instagram, because I'm definitely gonna have an Instagram post about it, about this new podcast, this first episode of my podcast. I mean, this kind of is this really a podcast? I mean, I guess it's a podcast. It's not like a what you would consider normal. This is just like a fandom talk. So yeah, but either way, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna tag the Agents of Shield cast and the WandaVision cast and Marvel Studios and the Marvel Studios director. I'm gonna tag a lot of people with this, but yeah. So that was them. So yeah, that's my idea. Those are my ideas for the Jimmy Woo, hopefully Agents of Sword spinoff and an Agent Carter season 3. It doesn't even have to be that long. It can just be 5 episodes. Like if budget's the problem, just do like a really short season. No one's gonna mind as long as you close off the loose ends. So yeah, there you go. Those are the ideas. And goodbye. I'm not goodbye yet, because I'm gonna talk a little bit more about stuff. So yeah, those are my ideas for Marvel's Loose Ends project. I'm gonna call that the Marvel Loose Ends project. The MLEP. I'm just gonna call it the Marvel Loose Ends project, or the Marvel Loose Ends idea. Marvel Loose Ends idea. There you go. Because you tie it, because there's a lot of loose ends in Marvel Studios. There are a lot of loose ends in the MCU, and that's how you tie them up. Or yeah, that's how you tie them up. And there you go. That's okay. That's the project or the idea. And now a little bit of Spider-Man video game talk, because that game is actually really, really fun. I have been playing that game. I finished the story. I'm doing a New Game Plus playthrough right now, so I can get the 2 achievements. I'm doing it on Ultimate level, because just to get it out of the way, because I really want to play the DLC. But before I do the DLC, I have the DLC already, all 3 of them. But before I play them, I'm gonna I'm getting all the achievements for the New Game Plus and regular. I've gotten all the achievements for the main story, so now I'm just getting the New Game Plus achievements. And then after that, I'm going to, or I guess trophies. And then after that, I'm going to play all the DLCs, get all the trophies for that. And then after that, I'm probably gonna play Miles Morales, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Does Spider-Man Miles Morales have DLC? Spider-Man Miles Morales DLC seems unlikely. Namely, Insomniac Games has not commented on one way or another on if Spider-Man Miles Morales would receive any DLC. What does DLC even stand for? Actually, I don't know. I know what it means, but I don't know what it stands for. DLC. What does DLC stand for in gaming? Downloadable content. That makes sense. That makes so much sense. Alright. So yeah, that's some Spider-Man updates. I will probably be giving you Spider-Man updates on the end of every episode of these podcasts until I'm done. I'm also going to give you maybe Hunger Games episode updates on at the end of every episode of this podcast. So yeah, I'm reading the Hunger Games series for the first time ever. No spoilers, please, because I know how the fandom community I know what the fandom community is like. I have a YouTube channel. I know what the fandom community is like. I spoil things all the time. It's kind of the point of my videos, actually. So yeah, no spoilers, but yeah, I've read the first Hunger Games book. I'm going to read the second Hunger Games book soon, and then after that, the third. So I'm going to read Catching Fire soon, and then Mockingjay after that, because that's how that works. And then after that, I'll read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know exactly when I'm going to watch the movies, but I'm planning on it. So I'm just going to give you those are the updates. Also, the reason so also it's been also update for the videos. This is kind of I might have addressed this already, but I don't think I have. The beginning of February has been a weird time for me because kind of been moving, and then the snow kind of like took out the Wi-Fi, I guess, for like a day, for a little bit. Because I live in San Antonio, Texas. We had snow. It was a lot. It was amazing, but by the time this comes out, I probably have posted that picture of my snowman that I made, or that snowman. On my Instagram, I probably posted it. So yeah, that's kind of like those are some updates on why the videos at the beginning of the month of February were delayed until like mid February, mid to late. So yeah, those are the updates. And yeah, that is. I've been talking for an hour and 7 minutes. I cannot believe it. I don't know if you can, but that is everything that I have for this episode 1 of ITUR Infinity Theorist Unscripted Rants. Goodbye.